Hi everyone, we're going to look at how to use DBR for progress monitoring. So to do this, click on the Progress Monitoring tab, click on Create Add to Groups, and then if you work at multiple buildings, it will prompt you to choose your school. So I can see right now I have not yet selected any students, so I'll need to scroll down to available students. I could scroll through the list to find my student, but I think it's a little bit faster to just search for the student's name. So let's say Zena is my student I'm wanting to monitor. I can click anywhere in her row, and now she's up here in my selected students. So for DBR, you will only have one student in each group since it's individualized. So I'm ready to create my new behavior group. Here I will select the behaviors I'm wanting to track. So some of the behaviors have been pre-selected. If those are not appropriate, I can simply click on them to deselect it. My advice to you would be out of all of these behaviors, choose a total of 1 to 3. FastBridge does say you can choose 3 per category, but we have gotten feedback from teachers that that is hard to keep up with and kind of overwhelming. So I would say choose a total of 1 to 3 behaviors. So let's say for our student, verbal aggression towards others, and maybe difficulty rebounding from setbacks, and crying. Maybe those are the behaviors that we're tracking with her. So all of these behaviors, you'll be tracking the frequency. Some of them, though, that have the flame icon, you'll also be able to track the intensity of the behavior. So if I scroll down, default group name is the student's name, behavior PM. Frequency, I would leave that as every week, even if you plan to do it less often. And then this is the part that's perhaps just a little bit confusing here, is where you set up the periods that you're wanting to monitor. So let's say I see the student for direct services every morning from Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 9:30, and I'd like to observe the behavior each time. So I could set it up for 3 times a week during that direct service minutes. Another option that you could do instead or in addition is to choose a subject area. Like maybe the student really struggles in her math class, and her math class meets from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day. So you could set that up to be tracked every day in her math class, and I'll show you how you could give a form to whichever teacher might be in there with her to get some feedback on how she's doing, and generalizing the skills that you're teaching her. So go ahead and set that up. Okay, let's say we're just doing Monday through Thursday. Then the last part here is setting a baseline for the student. So the start score would be what percentage of the time are they currently engaging in those behaviors? So let's say our student cries about 30% of the time. She has difficulty rebounding from setbacks about 70% of the time, and she displays verbal aggression towards others about 50% of the time. For each of these, you'll also set a goal. So keep in mind, some of the goals that you could choose would be positive behaviors that you'd be wanting to increase, and some would be negative behaviors you're wanting to decrease. So just be careful in terms of that when setting a goal. So crying, I would say let's try to get her down to 10% of the time. Difficulty rebounding from setbacks, maybe 20, and then verbal aggression towards others, maybe we want to get her down to 10. So you get to decide what you want the goal to be, and then you would click Save. So then to see your student, you would go to Progress Monitoring, and it defaults to showing you the academic groups, but you would just click right below where it says View Behavior Groups. And then I think the easiest way is to search for your student if you don't immediately see them. If we click on Zena's name, we see here are the periods that we've set up to be tracked. If I go ahead and click on one of those, I'll show you what it looks like. So for our 3 behaviors that we've selected, we're just going to show what percentage of the time she displayed those behaviors. And intensity if applicable. You can also add a note if there was something that gives good context or that you would like to put on here. You can type a custom note and save that. But then really the last thing to do is click Submit Test, and it's as easy as that. One more thing I want to show you with that, so let me find Xena again. If I click on this little bar icon to the far right, this is where I would see her graph. And right now it really doesn't look like much because we only have one data point. But once you have additional data points, you'll be able to see some trend lines starting. And if I had typed in any notes, I'd be able to see those notes here as well. So that's the main idea of setting up DBR.